So, Mark, did you see that video of the robot vacuum at Excalibur trying to escape the dirty castle? Times are tough.
Do you think it's like a dog and it has the shock collar and it got to the line and then it was like just sitting there rethinking its life thoughts or what?
I don't know, but you know why it was going outside, right?
Oh, to take the slow stroll down the moving walkway?
It wanted to get back in. It needed to take the ride. So let's talk Rio. Rio, on the last show, I talked about a huge executive shakeup and ownership shakeup, and Vital Vegas had reported that. They have since come out and confirmed a lot of the executives are gone from there, and they put out a press release on Monday confirming all the executive shakeups and stuff. One thing they didn't confirm was Patrick Miller, who's the CEO since 2023, what was going to happen to him. Vital Vegas is reporting he's out, although their press release did not confirm that. But they're bringing in a longtime El Dorado guy over from Laughlin. Rod Turlin is coming in as president and GM. It does seem like Patrick Miller's out, but that hasn't been confirmed. This place is a mess.
Yeah, kind of a crazy story. You don't really expect this. We thought Dreamscape had been moving along pretty well. It seems like they've updated the property quite a bit, and I know you've talked about ad nauseum about how much you've liked what they've done, but I guess they just were over budget, or maybe it wasn't as busy as they had hoped and they weren't paying the bills, or new owner wants new people. I don't know that it's necessarily going to be a great changeover. It just seems like a lot's going on in a short period of time.
Yeah, a lot to look forward to there as far as what's going to happen. And seems like they're out of money, a lot to still do. They haven't really had the success that they want with higher rates with the Hyatt partnership, and we will see. But that is the confirmation. Everything Vital Vegas reported was true, except for Patrick Miller. He says is out. We don't know. I would bet he is. A recovery plan version 3 coming at Rio. But Mark, I want to talk about this next story, Yacht Rock Residency on the Strip. You threw this into the show notes. This is about the Docksiders. I've heard their name a lot around town. I think they do shows at the South Point too, and they have their only Yacht Rock Residency on the Las Vegas Strip at 1923 Live over at the Grand Canal Shops. They just extended through 2027. What is your interest? You love Yacht Rock?
Yeah, my wife does. She loves it. There's a touring group that comes to the area every summer, and she's been dying to go see them. So this is high on her list of things. And I, like you, I've heard the name here and there, but I haven't heard a lot about them. But before this show, I went and watched some video, and it looks like they put on a pretty epic show. Everybody seems to be having a lot of fun. Yacht Rock, I think, is kind of exploding. I don't know if it's our generation really leaning into it, or it seems like there's this big trend moving and they're perfectly placed. They put on an amazing concert, it looks like. So I would go check it out.
And they perform Thursday, Friday, and Saturday nights right around 7:30, 8 o'clock is when they show up there. And yeah, good to see that. I mean, I didn't know there was a Yacht Rock residency. So there you go. I love the marketing on that, the spin.
Yeah, and we've talked about how these smaller shows, smaller productions aren't really doing well in Vegas, and so many have gone away. It's cool to see one being successful and get extended.
Well, what was also successful was the Las Vegas FurCon, which happened this last weekend over at the Alexis Park. We've talked about it on the show before. And this year, I feel like there's a lot more videos coming out about it. And since I started putting some of them in the show notes for this show, my whole X feed is furries running around Las Vegas at the Bellagio fountains. There's the weird video with the dog in the middle, the airport. I mean, they were all over the place.
Do you think this would be the greatest people watching weekend in Vegas every year, or do you think EDC or something like that is bigger?
I mean, I think we've talked about this before. We should put the crowds together and see how it all works. I always forget. I don't get notification until after it happens. I'd love to see these furries out in the wild to see how it works. But it seems like there was more production quality this year on their social media videos. Like they were out and about kind of staging scenes around town. I mean, I don't understand anything about this, but I think it's an interesting look into a certain part of American culture.
Yeah, I think that was Shawn saying he's going to put on a furry costume next year. But no, if I was wearing one of these in Vegas, I can't even imagine. It'd be like Crazy Stupid Love, where he's like, I'm wearing a sweater and a vest and a shirt, and from here down, it's all sweat. That's what I feel like it would be like. One of those things.
I mean, I don't know. We have some furry people watching the show, I think, because last time we talked about it, they chimed down in the comments. Let us know, how was it if you were here? What is the whole thing? I mean, Vegas, it's for everybody. And you know what else is for everybody, Mark? Las Vegas Advisor membership. With code MTM, you can get 10% off, $45 for the membership that lasts all throughout this year. Save hundreds in Vegas, gaming, restaurants, hotels, all of it. Check out the link in the description. Use code MTM, save your money. You will get more than $45 value, I promise.
Yeah, in like one day.
So let's talk trains and foamers, Mark, my favorite word. Foamer is the term I think that train employees use for the people who love trains, who watch them from the side of the tracks. And this is what we got. We got some foamer stories going on. The private train from Union Pacific Railroad that houses all the fancy execs came to Las Vegas recently. And I saw this on X, but then I think Chris Holmes shared a YouTube video from somebody who filmed the whole thing as it passed by, and you get to see all the fancy cars going by. So if you're an airline executive, you get to fly first class. If you're an executive at the railroad, you get to do this.
Do you think foamers and the Excel spreadsheet championships overlay each other quite a bit?
I mean, I'm kind of a foamer, so if anybody out there is offended by that, I do love trains. I don't go out and film them, but if they're going by.
I've never heard that word before, so I learned something new. I'm sure most people watching.
I've said it before on the show.
Well, anyway, this seems like a really cool perk of the business if you work there and you're higher up executive. I'm surprised there's not more like private trains like this that you can rent out that do something similar, go across the country and things. I think there would be a ton of people that would line up and pay big money for it.
I know Amtrak does have the ability to have private trains, and some very wealthy individuals have their private cars and do that. I'm not an expert on all that, so people can chime in on the comments, but I know that is sort of a thing. But this train has 5 sleeper cars, 2 business cars, a domed lounge, a recreation car, and a dining car, all for executives. Pretty cool. I've taken Amtrak around the country. That's a neat way to travel too for people who haven't done it, as long as you're in a sleeper and not in one of the regular seats in the back. But foamers, they've been waiting for this Brightline train, Mark, to come to Las Vegas, and I'm starting to think it might not happen, because here's the update on all of this. Las Vegas locally shared that work has stopped on the site where the station will be, and as a reminder, they're building this parking garage there. I don't know what else they are building. They've surveyed the entire thing, but the key thing is they're still waiting on a $6 billion loan, another $4 billion in financing. The price skyrocketed to $21 billion for the entire train. And I don't think that federal money's coming, so I don't think this train's going to happen, but that's sort of where we're at. The high-speed Rancho Cucamonga to Vegas train on hold, maybe? We don't know.
Yeah, I think the one in Florida has been struggling a bit. I don't think it's been doing as well. They haven't sold as many tickets as they had hoped, and there's a whole bunch of deaths and accidents going on there because people are underestimating how fast it moves and things like that. So this does look like a dark future for it, but hey, you guys did better than California. You got a parking lot out of it at least.
And a garage. We can eventually use that garage for something. It's almost done. Yeah, I mean, we love parking garages in Las Vegas too, so that is a good win for us. I mean, seriously, this is a project that the price has doubled. The willingness of the government to give funds for high-speed rail seemingly has changed, and it only goes to Rancho Cucamonga. It doesn't go all the way into downtown Los Angeles, which is a huge issue. So yeah, if I was a betting man, I would say the odds are pretty long on this one, but we'll keep an eye on it. Not going to happen anytime soon.
How long until the Neon Museum moves in there?
That would be a perfect location, honestly. It's right off the freeway. I mean, I'm all for that. Well, from the tracks to the skies, let's take to the skies with some drone footage, starting with Chris Holmes over at Omnia. This is what Omnia Dayclub looks like. It's going to be opening soon, and I have previously grimaced about how it blocks the entire view of Caesar's Palace from the front. When I see these pictures, it just reminds me of how beautiful those fountains are and why it's one of my favorite areas. But yeah, this big old honkin' Dayclub. It looks nice, though. I mean, I'm sure it's going to be nice when you're inside.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be a really beautiful spot to hang out during the day. And it does look like it's, there's quite a bit of work to be done. And there's only a month before opening, or around a month. But we said this when we were walking around Sahara and the Maroon restaurant there. And there was like basically nothing in there. They're like, oh, we're going to open in April. And we're like, oh, okay, sure thing. And they're opening in April. So they pulled it off. I'm assuming that this is going to get pulled off as well. And I think it will be stunning when it's done. But like you said, it takes away the pedestrian walkway, that the feel of Vegas. You lose a little bit of that here.
Yeah, and the whole theme that we talk about, building right up to the sidewalk, this is the example of that for sure. It's just this big honking building out in the front, but that is what it looks like now. And then off to the other Four Seasons. Last week I talked about staying at Four Seasons Las Vegas. over at the Mandalay Bay complex. I did my whole review if you want to go back and see that. But a lot of people don't know there's another Four Seasons being built in Las Vegas, the Four Seasons Residences over in McDonald Highlands. These two big towers are going to have incredible views of the city. In fact, I looked up the other day and saw them being built way up on the mountain. They're high up. So from this aerial view, it's kind of hard to tell, but these things are going to tower over everything.
Yeah, it looks like they're even the two bedrooms are really spacious. They have huge balconies and everything. I think it's going to be a really great indoor outdoor living setup, even though it is a condo. And Four Seasons, it's going to be insane with the finishes they put in there. The price tag is high. I don't know. Do you think they're going to sell it out?
I mean, that is a very exclusive area of town. It's probably one of the top 3. It's really weird where these towers are in McDonald Highlands. Probably from the gate, the guard gate, you probably have to drive 20 minutes to get up there, but it will be exclusive and private. There's going to be a Wolfgang Puck restaurant there. And like I said, those views are going to be unobstructed and second to none.
I wonder if you get like a reservation there. Is that your only way that the regular plebes can get in the back there?
I don't think even the regular plebes can. In a second, we're going to talk about another thing Las Vegas is doing for Bruno Mars. But before we do that, I would love to invite you to subscribe. Thousands of you are watching the show. We're only a couple hundred away from 60K. Hit the button, help us get over that, and then I can stop talking about it. Then I'll talk about 70K.
When we're 85, we'll be at 100K.
Or maybe just 10 years from now. I don't know. But we have a 10-year anniversary in Las Vegas. We've been talking about arenas a lot. On the last show, I talked about how Shelley Berkeley wants the NBA to build their arena downtown. Of course, there is the Rio site and the old Wet n Wild LVXP site. We've talked about Resorts World, but we already have one, and the owner wants to spend $300 million to make it an NBA arena. But all that to say, T-Mobile Arena turned 10 this week, and I remember being there on one of the very first events there, and I can't believe it's been 10 years. I'm getting old, Mark.
I mean, in 10 more years, they're going to want to knock it down in Vegas time, right? I mean, that's basically what we do. We rehab everything after 15 years or so. But no, this has been a great addition to the city. A lot of memories there with the Knights and everything else that goes into it. It's a beautiful stadium. I love the area built up around it too. We've talked about that a lot, where you can just walk down the street. It's very peaceful, very quiet, water fountains everywhere and all that. And then you look at the price tag compared to every other stadium or even the stadiums in Vegas, and what was it, under $400 million? It just seems like such a bargain.
Yeah, it was built by MGM and AEG with private money, and it was sort of a brilliant strategy, and you had to give MGM credit for doing this, because not only did it bring a team to Las Vegas, but it brought that whole area, like you said, it really tied together Park MGM, which was Monte Carlo at the time, and New York, and it just really made it a great area. And $375 million to build it, which, like you say, is super cheap when we see these $1 billion plus price tags, even for these smaller arenas. And that's why I hope $300 million. I hope that Foley gets the team, the NBA team, and we can get some investment into T-Mobile Arena, make it the best ever, and really focus on both teams. But it's crazy how fast time flies. Here we are talking about getting our 4th professional team in all 4 leagues, and it's only been 10 years.
Yeah, that is crazy. And, forever growing up, Vegas will never have sports because of betting, and then betting went everywhere. And now they're like, okay, let's get all 4 teams in here. It's been cool to witness. I do think this is the best site for an NBA team. I think using it for both sports is the best use of the place. One, you're not building. It's going to be cheaper, more cost effective. The area is already set up for it and everything like that. And then you're using the facility. I mean, so many of these arenas sit vacant so many days a year that having 2 teams in there just makes so much sense.
Yeah, freeway access, parking, it's all been figured out and set up. It is the best move, but congratulations to T-Mobile for making it to the Big 10. But let's talk Bruno Mars, and Bruno Mars is going to have a parade. So I know the joke, Mark. We know the joke, but they just keep upping the ante with Bruno Mars. Remember, we talked at the Bellagio Conservatory. They put a whole altar to Bruno Mars in there with the roses and the flowers, and now he is getting a parade. I thought they already changed the name of his street. They already did, but I guess now we need the whole city to celebrate it. This Friday, they're going to do that at 1 p.m. There will be a parade down the strip ending in Toshiba Plaza outside T-Mobile Arena to celebrate the new Bruno Mars Drive.
This is such a weird story. I don't know why it keeps getting bigger and bigger. I mean, he's not like a huge thing to Vegas. He's not a local. He wasn't born there. I just don't understand what the deal is. The only thing that makes sense is he's lost so much money that he's like asked for it.
That is some speculation that has happened. We don't know anything about his true gambling ties to MGM. We know he has a deep partnership. He has had residencies before. He does have Pinky Ring over at Bellagio, and he's worked with them very closely for many years. And it seems to be like a good partnership. But you're right, like the random display at the Bellagio Conservatory out of nowhere.
It's so creepy.
And then, they did announce the street, and that sort of already happened. But like, what was that, a month or two ago that they changed the sign, and we talked about it. And now all of a sudden there's a parade that came out of nowhere. I marketing for sure, but yeah, this is just weird. It's like he's becoming the new Wayne Newton. Maybe that's what they're trying to make him into, the next Mr. Las Vegas.
Yeah, I would get it if he signed like a 5-year residency and it was going to be there all the time. Then this would all make sense.
Well, let us know if anybody has any inside information. What will be next? What will we name after Bruno Mars next? What sort of celebration will we throw for him? Let me know down below. But I wanted to close with this. This is an article from the Nevada Independent about the shrinking middle class and what's killing Las Vegas. On the last show, Mark, you missed it, but I did the top 10 Daily Mail clickbait stories about Las Vegas, how they kind of twist all the headlines into making Las Vegas look decrepit and terrible and all of that with all the struggles that's going on. But Nevada Independent actually took a serious journalistic look at what exactly is killing Las Vegas, what is doing well in Las Vegas. And it's a lot of what we've covered on this show. High rollers doing well, affluent people doing well. In fact, those businesses doing better than ever. And the middle class really not coming, not being targeted, not feeling welcome here in a way that they did a generation ago.
Yeah, I think, what was it, 6% of the median household income, which is like 80K or less, that only accounts for 6% of visitors to Vegas, which is half of what it was a couple years ago. And that's kind of stark number. I would never guessed it would be that low. And I know that level of income is probably stressful and it's hard to live on with the cost of goods and everything. And the first thing to go is discretionary income, which Vegas is all discretionary income. But it still seems crazy. And, when I first started going to Vegas, that felt like that was everybody there.
Yeah, I mean, businesses can choose who they're catering to, and they're all catering towards this clientele, and they're really leaving the normal people out in the dust, and a lot of the free sort of stuff has gone away. And so if you're just a normal person planning a trip, it goes the same way like Disney. People talk about Disney. Well, now it's going to be $5,000, or just the idea of that trip and how much it's going to cost. People just don't do it. And the entire city just isn't catering towards them. And there's so many gotchas with restaurant prices and fees and everything else that the planning just isn't happening. Instead of saying, hey, we're going to take the family to Vegas, you're just not doing that. You're doing something else. And I think that the numbers do bear that out. And also, a lot of the businesses are not struggling. In the article, they talk about how expense accounts and business travelers are really propping things up. Things like the $1,000 piece of meat that you can get over at Fontainebleau.
I love that she called that out in the article and was like, this would be $100 at Costco.
Yeah, Vegas Starfish was quoted in the article. She says it's a $1,000 beef case and they cure it for you. And they bring out what is a relatively ordinary piece of meat that you could purchase at Costco for probably $100. So yeah, a good description of that. But there are people paying for that. And that is sort of what Vegas is now.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to cater to what works and what's making them money. It's just a question of when that swoon, I mean, things always are changing in Vegas and the clientele is always changing. Are they quick enough on their feet to reverse if it goes back down and they want to go after the more normal person and bring that back to Vegas? It just doesn't feel like the same environment when I've gone the last couple trips. Like, it doesn't seem as rowdy, as fun. And maybe that's just me being older and not getting involved in that stuff as much. But it does seem that way, and this kind of leans into that.
Yeah, another sort of thing that stood out to me, and we look at these numbers all the time. We looked at the visitor survey where that income number you talked about came from, and we're looking at all the Baccarat numbers every month, how they're up. But the way that they broke this down kind of blew my mind. In 2024, $8.7 billion was wagered on the strip for Baccarat, which is just nuts to me. And the Baccarat hold was 15.7% for a game that is very close to break even. It shows you how the theoretical really isn't the real.
Yeah, that's a crazy, staggering number. And there was something going around X, a guy, I don't remember who it was, where he let his buddy say banker or player or whatever. It was $250K bet, and he picked wrong. And there you go. one play, 250 grand, gone.
I feel like on Baccarat, and people can chime in, we're kind of going off the rails here, but you got to always pick the same side, right? To get if you're going willy-nilly back and forth, then you're really messing up your odds.
Yeah, I've never played baccarat, and that's what I would assume. And they only did the one hand, and that's probably tough. I mean, you win big, lose big. But a lot of people in the comments said you should have played like four hands, broken it up, or five hands. The thing I've always heard around casinos is watch a table. Whoever's losing, bet the opposite.
There you go. I mean, baccarat went from being that's a thing that they play in China to everywhere and being so big and streamers, and it's a fun game to watch people play, and it's there's no skill at all. No skill at all. You just got to choose one side or the other, player or banker, I don't know. But it's huge, and I think that just shows you how Las Vegas has changed. This is a great article. It's very long, very well thought out. A lot of it you'll probably be aware of just from watching this show, but yeah, the powers that be really have to start focusing on this. And some of these all-inclusive offers, we're going to break down on Friday's show how the Caesars and MGM offers compare to each other, which one is better, and who are they trying to attract with these deals. But in the meantime, let us know what you guys think about anything we talked about today. Some good topics, furries all around Las Vegas. That's my favorite one. But everything else we talked about, leave a comment. We do 3 shows a week, Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Mark and I will be back in a couple days with another show. Thank you so much for watching. Talk to you next time.
Have a good week, everybody. Vegas is for everyone.